Terry, I'm on the side of Highway 412 in Madison County going towards Lexington, where as you can see behind me, this single engine crop duster crashed on the side of the highway. People will be coming out to kneel for George Floyd for 9 minutes, the same amount of time that a Minneapolis police officer held him down. The Southside High School boys basketball team will also be recognized along with the athletic director for their undefeated season. And that's them walking in right behind me, actually. And the public will also be allowed to make comments for 30 minutes during the meeting. Under the new law, your phone cannot be in your hand while you're driving. So before you check that text message or Facebook post, pull over and put it in park. And then you're good to go. White says the church is considering no longer passing the offering plates or the friendship tablets during service in order to prevent the spread of germs. Chief Dillard and a group of his firefighters made the nearly 3.5-hour drive to Elizabethtown, Kentucky to drive home this piece of their history. Higgins says that having the teachers read picture books to the students helps with consistency. Blanchette et les Petites Cajuns, a Cajun Snow White. Once upon a time in the Louisiana swamplands, residents say that with a little bit of extra help from HGTV, it could breathe some new life back into their hometown. What you see next to me is an old school seismometer, and it records the Earth's movements, including earthquakes. And to do that, it bounces up and down, just like this, to show the wave activity. Atlas is taking donations for RIFA throughout the rest of this week. In North Jackson, Allie Mason, WBBJ-7 Eyewitness News.
We come from a multiracial family. 4 of our children are African American and 1 is Caucasian.
Jessica Clark says she's concerned about her children's safety as they get older.
Are they going to get scared in a situation and do something that people would think was aggressive and get shot or get hurt because of something that they just were scared of?
That's why she joined hundreds of others in front of Jackson City Hall Saturday afternoon for a peaceful protest in honor of George Floyd, who died in police custody.
Well, diversity is tremendous. Anyone that says that this county, this city doesn't care about the plight of others, particularly those that's in the African American community or the Asian or Hispanic community, is dead wrong.
Many also honored other black men and women who died in similar situations.
The residents of Jackson are speaking, and they're saying injustice is not okay here. It is not okay in Minnesota. It is not okay in our world. It has no place.
And not just Jackson residents. Others came from surrounding counties to make their voice heard.
Last night we both just decided we feel like we have to do something. We have to stand up and be a part of it. I really do think that white people really need to be more involved, and I think that's one of the areas where we keep letting this happen.
Lane College student Daryl Clark says it means a lot to see everyone come together and show their support.
We getting support from all corners, all which ways, so I just love it. I'm feeling the love, and I see all the supporters out here, and they're all peaceful and we're not looting or anything like that.
Protesters say they just want to see an end to all racial injustice.
We got to raise our children to love each other regardless of the skin color.
There's hope in coming together, saying that each person is a person.
We could get a truck, antique truck, from anybody, anywhere. But to have one that come from our department, that's special.
Milan Fire Chief Stephen Dillard is excited to bring a piece of hometown history back to Milan. It all started with a phone call about a year ago.
I had a phone call from a gentleman in Kentucky. He said, "Chief, I think I have one of your engines." And I thought, well, he's probably looking for some type of historical data, something of that nature about the truck.
He texted with the man and received some pictures, sparking a sense of deja vu.
When I got the pictures back, I knew immediately this is one of our trucks.
After that phone call, Chief Dillard and a group of his firefighters made the nearly 3.5-hour drive to Elizabethtown, Kentucky to drive home this piece of their history. This 1940 American LaFrance fire truck joins the rest of the fire trucks at the station after it was sold several years ago.
I really don't know to who, but Mr. Miller told me that he bought it from somebody in Middle Tennessee. And in fact, he'd had the truck for 35 years. It didn't take a whole lot to get it running. And so they've redone the brake system.
The department plans to continue restoring the truck and will plan fundraisers later on through the Milan Firefighters Foundation. There are also more plans for public outings for what the department calls a treasure.
Something that we can carry forward, that's going to carry our heritage forward as well.
In Milan, Allie Mason, WBBJ-7 Eyewitness News.
James have touched people through his music, which I think he spoke his life beginning and his end through his music.
Tanya Rivers lost her son James 1 year ago today in an accidental shooting.
The hardest part is really not knowing basically what happened to my child. That's the hardest part. But then at the end of the day, I still have to carry on.
Family and friends gathered at the home on Ray Street where James died. The group prayed and released balloons in his memory. We love you, James! After that, they held a celebration of James's life at the Hub Club. His girlfriend, Destiny Teague, says she's doing a lot better a year later, but losing him was hard at first.
I thought life had ended. I mean, I've been with him since I was in the 7th grade. He died my 11th grade year. I expected to, go to prom with him, graduate, different stuff like that, but God had other plans.
Family and friends say they love his sense of humor and outgoing personality.
James was funny. He always lifted you up when you were down. It was never like a dull moment around him. He was always, laughing, giggling, making a joke out of everything.
After James died, his mother found out about a group he started called James's Purpose Delivering Kids, made up of his friends to help them stay on the right path. Rivers says that she keeps in touch with them.
And a lot of them, they call me Mom. And a lot of them call me, for advice or whatnot. Whatever it is, I'm there for them.
She says her favorite memory of James and a lesson that he taught her was one Christmas when she couldn't afford gifts for the kids.
And he was like, Mom, you don't want to worry about it, because I always have took care of them. But at that moment, I just didn't have it. And he showed me a way that it ain't always about money.
Many also remember him for his passion for rap and writing his own songs.
Being able to be in a room with him while he's writing a song, knowing he's about to, post a song and stuff like that, I do miss that.
He had big dreams and stuff like that, and we will carry his name on, would not stop.
We've never forgotten about Casey here in Milan.
23 years after Casey Lynn McDaniel disappeared, a Gibson County grand jury indicted Finis Pete Hill on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated rape.
This is just one step. It's just an indictment at this point, and it's still an ongoing investigation. There may be other things coming in the future.
Casey's cousin, Lindsay McDaniel, and her family have mixed feelings on the outcome.
We wanted answers, and that's what we're getting, but, those answers are hard to swallow. We would like to say that we're at peace with the fact that we know she's gone, but you're really not when you read the charges and the things that have come out.
McDaniel was last seen the night of August 16, 1996, after going home with a chaperone from church. She was reported missing early the next morning.
Our worst thoughts and fears over the last 23 years have come to life, and now we have to deal with that.
Milan police worked with the TBI, FBI, Jackson Police, Gibson County Sheriff's Department, and District Attorney Gary Brown on McDaniel's case over the years.
The groundwork that was laid back then has really helped us today to get an indictment.
Chief Sellers says that the main goal is getting the case through the court process. Family members say they won't give up.
We've never given up hope on her. We still want to find a body and give her a proper burial.
I've been here for about 27 years, and out of 27 years, this is one of the worst storms I've encountered.
Richard Strickland lives in Adamsville, a town recently left a war zone after storms with straight-line winds passed through the area.
I was coming across the highway when the roof of the building came off and come flying across the parking lot over there. I knew I had to get over here to my son, so I make sure he was going to be okay. It sounded like a train and just total annihilation of something. It was a noise that I've never heard before.
Authorities directed traffic while the lights were out. Shattered glass and debris from local businesses lined the street and sidewalks of downtown Adamsville. A woman and her daughter were trapped in the bathroom of one of the shops while the building took a beating from the winds. Business owners surveyed the damage and called their insurance companies.
It's pretty heartbreaking. This town, has been taking a beating the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm looking at businesses that are, all but destroyed. Just here, it's several, maybe $1 million, $1.5 million. It's a lot. It's a lot of damage. It's just everywhere. It's widespread. There's no way to get away from it.
Sadly, one person died as a result of the storms.
We've had several high winds hit the county. We've got several trees down across the county. We've got several homes damaged. We've had one fatality.
Downtown Adamsville also had to evacuate for a period of time due to a gas leak. Community members say they just want to put their town back together and keep moving forward.
This town's resilient and we'll get through it. We will. We'll put it back together.
Tragedy and difficulty does not separate us from God's love, and that's the one thing that we have in the midst of times like this, is to know that God loves us and He cares for us, and to know that other people do as well.
David Baker, minister of Grace Point Church in Savannah, preached at a Riverside prayer vigil for the 3 missing boaters from Obion County. Hardin County High fishing coach Dana Strickland and a volunteer for missing persons cases, Ricky Alexander, organized the vigil. Community members from both Hardin County and Obion County prayed together to bring them home.
Whenever you work these tragedies, it's hard to not take this home with you. It's hard to leave it here on the riverbank.
Strickland says it's been hard on her and her students, but she's grateful for all of the community's support during this rough time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming together. Thank you for helping. We have had people offer to do anything and everything.
Officials and volunteers have been searching for 2 15-year-olds and their chaperone who went missing on Pickwick Lake a week ago. Hardin County Sheriff Johnny Alexander says this week-long search turning up empty-handed is hard.
Especially these children. We hate it for the families, but we hate to lose a child.
He says they will keep searching every day until they find them. In the meantime, community members will keep praying for their recovery.
We just want them to understand as a faith community that we surround them with our prayers. We want to be hopeful, we want to be helpful, and we want this family to know that they are supported by the love of the members of this community.
For the community to come out in such a mass amount of numbers like we had, that's incredibly uplifting to every one of them, and we hope they felt that.
Michael Davis, director of Hardin County Schools, says this challenging time brought together 2 communities.
And we're not doing anything that they wouldn't do for us if the tables were turned. But, we've got to look at the good of what comes out of tough challenges, and, we're going to still continue to pray for hope and a good ending.
If Christ be for us, who can be against us?